Want to master Adobe Premiere Pro, but you don't have hours to spare? You're in the right place. Welcome to Become an Adobe Premiere Expert, a power-packed crash course designed to take you from a beginner to a confident editor fast. In this course, we'll cover everything you need, from importing footage, cutting like a pro, adding effects, fixing audio, color grading, and exporting your final video with professional settings. No fluff, no waste of time, just real editing skills in under 1 hour. I have spent countless hours struggling with Premiere, researching, making mistakes, getting stuck, and learning things the hard way. When I had started, I just wanted to be a content creator, but I had no clue what I was doing, and the worst part, I found solutions to problems way later, when I had wished I had known them from the start. That is why I have made this course, to save you all that time and frustration. I packed everything that I wish I had known from day one. So grab your footage, fire up Adobe Premiere Pro, and let's dive in. Your editing journey starts right now. So right off the bat, when you open up Premiere Pro, new project, and it would have you title it, give a location, click create. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is open up your folder and go to wherever your footage is. Now for me, for the gaming content, I have a Game Capsules OBS folder. But if you're doing like GoPro stuff, you might have a SD card that will show up down here on your computer. You'll just simply drag stuff from there over into, let's say I want to do some Call of Duty footage, or just drag it, drop it in here. It's going to go ahead and process it and throw it into here. And then I can go ahead and just drop it in just like that. And then I do something that I didn't want to do, like I deleted something. I could do Command Z and it'll bring it back. So I'll just Command Z and just Command Z that out because I don't need that footage. Okay, first step is scaling and cutting the video. So you can see that right here, my video is not to scale right now. Now, usually when you drop in your footage, it will say, do you want to scale this to whatever your footage is? And then you click yes. But in my case, it's not, because I have 4K footage in here. So it's scaled to the 4K footage, but not the gaming. So I can just go to scale. And then I can just scale it to where I need it to fit. Now it fits perfectly on my screen. Now, if I want to cut, like for instance, right here, we're just in the lobby waiting for the game to start. I can go to the razor tool, and I can cut using that, and then just delete the footage. Or I can do Control K, and that will cut it as well. So that's the Control button, and then the K button on your keyboard, and Command Z to undo. So we're just gonna cut out the first half because there's nothing of interest here. And then I'm going to delete this. And this I can either move this or I can cut it and then get rid of it. And now I have this empty space. I can do a couple of things. So I can either use this track select forward tool that'll move everything over. Or what I can do is select this and delete. And it'll move it over on its own. So that is how you scale and cut video. Another thing you can do is unlink your audio, and I'm going to do a right click and I'm going to do a unlink. What this does, it just unlinked all my audio. This I know is my desktop audio. I don't need that. Now, what I have here is I have the game audio is my top audio from my OBS. The way I have OBS set up is this is my game audio, and then I have my audio is right here on HyperX, and then Discord is right here. So the way this is set up is this is Discord, this is Shogun, this is my audio, and this is my game. That's how I have it set up. So I can adjust my game, and then I can adjust my audio, and I can adjust Shogun's audio. His is pretty loud, enough as it is.
Oh, give me the shotgun that's on the ground, please.
See, and then I can also, let's say, I can even mute myself too. Actually, I think I just muted Shogun.
Oh,
Yeah, I just muted Shogun. See, now my audio is muted, so you can also mute audio. You can also cut out audio, like if I
Oh, give me the shotgun that's on the ground, please.
if I said something right here that I don't want, I can just cut it and remove it just like that. And now it's not in the video anymore. You can do that with, for instance, swear words. That's what I would do a lot with swear words. Is I'll just cut them out.
Dude, I'm running. That is my double barrel.
That is yours? Oh, I stole your gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can cut out, like if there was a swear word here, you can cut out the swear word. If another thing that I do is say, Shogun got really loud right here, I will actually decrease his volume. Just like this, if he got really loud right here, I will decrease the volume. Another thing that you can do is use this pen tool, and I can decrease it in a way that it's more, like, it seems more original and not so obvious cut. So it flows better. So that's another thing you can do with audio. And when the audio is unlinked like this, you can't just cut straight down like I was able to before. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But you can do just straight down, which takes some time. You could also just relink your audio with link, and then it'll link it all back up. Another thing you can do is go to edit and keyboard shortcuts, and then you can make a shortcut like for W, add edit to all tracks, and we want this to be W, just like that. And then go to ripple delete, and then add this to Z, and then click OK. And when I click W, now it cuts it all the way down again. See, just like that. I can remove this now. And then Z will delete it and move it over. So if I like highlight it, click Z, it deletes and moves over. If I don't use Z, I have to highlight it, delete it, then click, then delete. See? So it's a lot easier. Highlight, click Z, not Control Z. Control Z does this is what Control Z would do. It'll just undo. Click Z, and then there you go. So for text and contrast, we are going to make this photo. So if I go over here, you can see this is the same photo. See the difference? We have this text here, and we also have some contrast. So I'm going to go to my type tool, which I can do Control T, and it'll just add in one just like that. You see that? If I do Control Z, I either click this, click, and then do it, or I can do Control T, and it'll add a new text layer, and then I can go in and type Mandel Shadow Load. And then we stick that in the bottom corner. We're going to scale this down. Can go over here, and then we can actually, if we want to, we could bold it, which I don't think it's bold over here. Maybe it is. It could just be the font. But our text is right here, and we're going to just stretch it so it goes across the entire photo. We can also stretch our photos to change the length. And we are going to add a stroke. You can also add a color. I guess for this case, we will add a yellow color. Why not? And then we can add a type of font that we want to use. Let's say we want to use this one. Actually, I don't quite like. Let's do something like this. Even though it's a very different font, I'm just kind of showing you what you can do. You can also change the stroke to like 8. So it stands out like that. I'm going to change this back to white. Now, the next thing we are going to do, close to what we have. And then now we want to do brightness and contrast. Now you can adjust your brightness and contrast, just like this. Make it a bit dark. See, now this looks more like the actual photo I have here. And all we have to do is scale it, just like so. Pretty close. I have to do some readjusting, but it's basically, as you can see, that's basically the exact same image that is right there. So that is how you do the text and the contrast. Now for transitions, we are going to go over here go to video transitions. There's also audio transitions as well. I'm going to clean this down. So you can do like fading audio. This will fade your audio out. This will do the opposite of fading. Concept power I don't use, but we're going to do some transitions. We're going to do a dip to white transition, and we're going to do a dip to black transition. So if I go down here, you can see there's this transition here, and I can choose how long I want it to last. And it would transition to the next one. Then I'm going to go down, and we're going to transition to the next one here, which is going to be a transition to white. See how that works? And then we can use other transitions besides those. There is page peel and page tones. There's bands and center split. Let's do a central split, and this works on video and images. So I have a video over here and an image here. So it's going to center split 2-hour video of ghosts going in a doorway. And we can let's do a bone dolls. Yeah, let's do bone dolls. And let's say I want the bone dolls to actually be the other direction. So we can do direction vertical. See, now it goes a vertical direction. We can also do a couple different ones. Let's do wedge wipe here. And we can also see this wedge comes down. We can flip this wedge wipe just by hitting these arrows up here. These little arrows will flip it. See, just like that, I'm flipping it around, trying different sides. You know, you can just play with it. You can also change the duration of the ending here. So just play around with the transition effects, see what each ones you like. That is how you kind of go play around with these and just see what you can do. You can also change a border color. See, now I have this red on the border. So now we have this kind of red transition that's going on here. That's going down to our videos. You can see it's kind of transitioning over. And then remember to Command S, which is to save your video. Oh, save your file so nothing goes wrong. And then we are going to go to, now we're going to do move and animate objects with transitions. This is a speech bubble I used to use with my little cartoon character. And we're going to throw slide on each one of these. Now let's say I threw slide on up here, which I don't want. We're going to go ahead and remove that, and we can hide it out of the way, but we're going to go ahead and lock it so I can't adjust anything there by accident. We're going to throw a slide in each one of these, and as you can see, now it slides on in. Now we also want to make it slide out. If I throw a slide on each one though, you will see that it will do this and not slide out. That is not what we want. So we're going to go ahead and select this, and we're going to do reverse on each one of these. So now what it does is it will do the reverse and move out. Now, if you also want to do, you could do like, say, move these in and do these speech bubble just pop up and pop away. So like I can slide on in, it can pop up, it can pop off just like that. There's another thing you can do. You can also make, for instance, I can make me run across the screen here if I want to by doing a position tracker and then going to the end, looking position and moving them over here. And now what's the, see, now I'm going across the screen. Move this over up here, like that. And you will see I will go across the screen a little bit quicker. Go ahead and move these down further. See? Moves across the screen relatively fast and ends right there. So that's kind of how you can move objects around. I could also do, like, if I wanted to do a jump or something, I can curve it along like that. I can do, like, let's make it more like a very much bounce. So I'm going to do this. So now you get this bounce and it goes across the screen. And then you can also even just have me go right off the screen from there. So I can come in, bounce, and go across. So that is how you can kind of animate objects with transitions and just using the position tickle on top. Now we're going to do some audio fixing. Now with audio fixing, as you can hear, if I play this, there is some clear background noise. I'm gonna up the audio level. There's a lot of background noise here. So I'm gonna do denoise, and then I'm gonna slide this in downhill. I want you to pay attention to the difference of using denoise. So if I turn it off, you notice there is a clear background, almost background noise. Now if I turn this on, it sounds a bit better. But I can also go to edit, and I can increase this. Now, it sounds a lot better, there's a lot less noise in the background. If I go and turn off the effect, I can hear the noise quite easy. Turn it back on. It just removes a lot of that background noise. So denoise is a very good way to remove background noise. Now, if I go over here, there is some wind noise. And I can remove this wind noise by using high pass, dropping that high pass in, then I can adjust it depending on how much I want to affect. The higher, the more it's going to affect my video. See, it pretty much removed all audio because I have it too high, but if I set it just enough that it'll cut the highs out, it will help remove that bad wind audio coming in. See, now it's basically not even there. Well, if I remove that and my denoise, see how much noticeable that is compared to having denoise and high pass on. So that is how to fix wind and background noise in your videos. Denoise will also fix a lot of your static in your microphone. Denoise is good at fixing that as well. Now, color grading. Color grading is good if you have footage like this one, but as you can see, it's just kind of dark and kind of mucky. Hill looks pretty good. It's kind of bright, but Hill just looks really... it's too dark. Now, granted, you could change that with your brightness and contrast. And just adjusting this like so and getting a bit of a clearer photo. See, that looks a lot better already than it did. Well, if I remove it, see how much better that looks already. That is one way you could adjust it, but I've already showed you how to do that. What I want to show you here is going to Window, Workspaces, and going to Color. And here you will open up Elementary Color here, and we have exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks, and along with tint. You want to get like a blue tint, orange, or just play around with that a little. Like let's say you were doing a midnight scene, for instance. You could tone this down to it looks kind of more like it's kind of dim, kind of adult colored. But we're not going for that for this scene. You can also adjust the highlight exposure. So we're going to adjust this and just make this scene look so much better, so much brighter, and so much full of life. See how much better that looks already. Now, if I remove that effect, look at the before and the after. It just looks so much better now. And I could even like, if I want it to be kind of like dimmed down a little bit, I can bring in the blue tint. I can bring in green tint, depending on what you're trying to do. Now we'll go ahead and color grade this one, because this one also kind of needs it. Which is why I chose to use this footage for this, because all of this footage kind of needs it done. Before and after. See the difference? Using the color grading. The footage just looks so much better. Alright, here we can also adjust this one. We can adjust the saturation. See how much brighter this looks now compared to if I dim it back down. You can also go black and white if you want to, if you're doing an old style kind of video. Let's adjust this just so it looks more vibrant. We can also adjust the lighting. Let's put some blue in there. Let's see, and just play with it a little bit. See, it already looks a bit better. It looks a little more bright, saturated, and a bit cleaner. It's almost probably a little too saturated, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm probably going to bring that down a little bit. But right off the bat, color grading can make a really dim and ugly video. I mean, see how dim this is. Go to a really nice, bright, vibrant video. Now let's go through spell check. So with spell check, as you can see, all these all misspelled. We're going to go to window. We're going to go down to text. And text will tell you if something is spelled wrong, and you can go ahead and fix it. From there, Adobe, and see, there you go. Now all the text is spelled correctly. In case you're using subtitles or anything like that, that is how you can fix your text. If you want to do subtitles, you can go to transcribe your sequence, and it will give you a captions option right here. You're going to do transcribe, you're going to go to captions, create captions from your transcript. It will not always be 100% accurate, granted. So keep that in mind. The AI is not perfect, but it will do the best it can. Now, we're going to go into multiple POVs using cameras. This is a airsoft footage that I have where I use 3 cameras. I have a head cam, a face cam, and front cam. So what we're going to do is we're going to, generally I use the audio files here to try and line up everything. I'm not going to go too in depth with it here, but the point is you can kind of look. If I go ahead and do the item, remove it, you can kind of look at what's going on and get an idea of where the footage needs to be. See, I'm running here and I'm not on the webcam. My gun doesn't go up to about right here. So I can move my camera now to where my rifle comes up. And it's going to be pretty well in line with where it needs to be compared to where it was before. And I would generally use the audio, like down here, to try to get an idea of where it needs to be. And I'll listen to it as well. But just looking at the camera, it looks like this needs to be about right here. See, that looks pretty close to me. And I'm going to assume when I start running, it's about when it goes. As you can see, the reload is right on point, pretty much. Even the hands match up. So that is a really good way to just check and get your footage lined up. So now I know that this is all perfectly lined up and good to go. Now the next thing that I would do is I will hide this, and I have this other footage, which is my shooting footage. The nice thing about this camera is it's right on the rifle, which means I can easily go ahead and look down at the bottom and go, okay, where am I shooting? And then go from there. See these load spikes? These are shots that have been taken. But just looking at the camera, I can go and see I probably took a few shots here. So that means this is probably where my shots need to go. We'll go ahead and play it. Oh, I need to mute some stuff here. Gotta mute this face cam. Right here. And I did not shoot, so I know it's not there. But you just play around, figure out where the audio needs to go. This looks like shot 2. See, that's shots that I took right there. This is our shot right there that I just shot there. It looks pretty like it's lined up. I could go ahead and check. I'd say that's probably pretty accurate, but it looks, because I see the palette is right here, and then I see the palette is right here on the camera. And as you can see, I can clearly shooting at this person right here. And in this case, this is where I would do a red dot file, which I don't have one on file right now, but you can also just do a circle and then do red This is where I would put my red dot. I would try to see about where the BBs are going, and then I would move my dot according to that by moving this screen over here. And that's about where my BBs are going. Now for red dot, I would just go and find a red dot PNG and just pick one that you like and use that. That is usually what I use. But in case you can't find one, you can just do a red circle and that will work. That's how to use multiple cameras / POVs. So we have our face cam or head cam and our rifle cam. That is multiple POVs. Now this is green screen. For green screen, you are going to want to go to your effects tab if you're not already on it, and then do ultra key, slide ultra key on, and then click this little key color, and bam, just like that, it'll key everything out, and we can put a sky behind it, just like that. Now the sky clip is not long enough, so what we are going to do is right click, do duration, and we're going to adjust this to, let's say, 30%. And it was not long enough. So let's adjust this down to, let's say 8. 8 was a little too long, so we're going to adjust this to 11. 11 is pretty close. It's pretty spot on. So now you can see that we have this nice little flying image. Now the image is a little too slowed down now, which is not what we want. But what I could do is let's slow this down to the point it's basically just a still image. It has no movement here now. It has some, but it's very little that it doesn't matter. I am going to do, I'm going to scale it up, just like this, position it in the corner, and then I'm going to hit this toggle animation. I'm going to scale down to, the plane only goes about to right there, so I'm going to scale down right there, and I'm going to move this up. See this little tickle? This is our animation tickle. And then, now watch this. See, now it looks like it's actually flying. Doesn't that look so much better? And that's just using this little animation thing, which I could also use on the plane. This can be really dumb, but I can go ahead and position it up here and then position it down here, and it's just gonna do this weird kind of up and down motion. It's gonna go up, then it's gonna go back down, just like that, following our little animation. So we could have it like fly around if we wanted to, and then it's gonna also go straight across and down. So I can just have it move around however I see fit, just by using the position toggle animation. So it'll kind of fly in, then it'll fly up. See, just like that. So that is how you can use the position keys to kind of move around. That's how you do green screen. Now I'm going to show you a little bit more with movement tail. We have this tank image, which I quite like this tank image, but so let's say I like this image, but I don't want this background. What I'm going to do is open up Adobe Express, which you already have, because if you have a subscription for Premiere Pro, you already have Adobe Express. So go to Adobe Express, then we just drop our tank image on over here, and watch this background. It just gets removed instantly. Then we'll click download, and you see there is a little bit of a spot that was missed here. If you don't have Adobe Express for some reason, you can go to remove.bg/upload. And you'll see it did the same thing. This time, it actually kept the other tank. But I don't want the other tank, so we're going to use the magic brush, and we're going to remove it. And just like that, it is completely removed, and we are going to go ahead and download. There is a charge if you want a higher quality photo, but I usually just go with the free one. It's up to you though. The charged photo will be a little bit better quality, but you can also restore objects as well if I want to bring something back that got removed, just like that. But it, as you can see, it didn't really do it very well. Kind of it kind of screwed up a little bit here. It brought some of the background back too. But that is another way you can go about doing it. And I will delete this other one. Now we have this tank that I want to use. I'm going to put this tank on over here. We're going to click the toggle animation. And then we're going to slide this ball over here. Click position, and we're going to slide this tank down here. And now we have this tank animation, where it's just going to go across the screen. Just like so. Now for tracking an object and keeping it centered, as you can see, Ghost is over on the right side of the screen. He's not centered at all. And let's say I want him to be centered. I'm going to zoom in, move this over where I want it to be, which would be right here. Then he gets kind of out of the center there and back in the center. So I'm going to do position. Walks out of the center here. We're going to move him back to the center. See, now you can see my video is moving here as it's trying to keep centered with my object. I can move it here. If he gets out of the center, I can just simply move it back and the camera will try to follow. So it went from center, got moved out, so let's move him back to center. Again, make sure you don't move your video too far, or it's going to be very obvious that it's been moved a little too much. See, now it's tracking a lot better than it was. Before, we just had a very full, zoomed out video. As you can see, my video clip there, so I'm going to move them back over. And now it very much tracks and is actually scaled in with my object. Importing music and images or effects will be the same way as importing your videos. You're just going to drag and drop anything that you want to have just right in here. Let's see, this is a music file I have that I can just drop on over. And then I can choose the volume just like so, depending where I want it to be. And I can also do a audio transition and do a exponential fade, which will then fade in the audio. I will actually go ahead and adjust this by moving this stuff around. I'm going to adjust this just like so, fade in, just like so. So that's how you can fade in audios. If you want to move your stuff around, you also can do that. Like if I just select and drag this, so I'm hovering over the select, drag, and this will come up. I can move this over here if I want to just rearrange my setup. If you choose to have a different setup than mine, then you can go ahead and do that. You can also rescale these up and down. You can scale this up and down depending how big you need that to be. You can also scale these sideballs, as you've probably seen me doing a lot while doing this, just like so. If you scale this up quite a bit, you can see your pixels of stuff. So you get a bit of an easier idea of what it is that you're looking at. So now I can see everything that I needed to see and export. Just like that. That's going to be my title. Then you're going to want to pick a location. Now, the next thing you're going to do is usually by default, the preset is going to be on matte source adapted high bitrate. Which, I mean, that's fine. But honestly, for the best quality, I would go with whatever your video is. Like if you're 1080p, then pick 1080. But for my footage, it's 4K, so I usually by default always click 4K. Even with my gaming footage, I click 4K because it's just generally the best quality. So that is how to do a multitude of effects and transitions and things that I use across multiple videos that I do. As you can see, I do a multitude of different videos. I run a multitude of YouTube channels. So therefore, I have a lot of experience with Adobe Premiere Pro along with other things such as thumbnails and just doing YouTube and content creation in general. If you want to know more, go ahead and check out my Instagram as I have more on what I do there. And I can also give you some free additional lessons there. Just go ahead and DM me pro on Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, that's fine. I have a Discord as well. Go ahead and hit me up on my other platforms and socials if you want more help with this, as I am doing one-on-one coaching to help teach you how to actually do this stuff and actually scale your brand and your channel, as there is a lot with Adobe even out of this. Like, I've done weapon effects and gun effects as well, which is what I was doing with this ghost video. This is for a series. So I have done a multitude of things. So if you need any additional help, feel free to hit me up on any of my socials, and I will see you in the next video. I hope this helps. Take care.